I know this is a bit of an old story, and I'm kind of just whipping a dead horse here, but I thought I might talk about this now viral story of this Christian campaigner, Isabel Vaughan Spruce, who is campaigning against abortion here in the UK, which, unlike in America, where, you know, the abortion movement is kind of split. You have the very delightful leftists who scream and say that babies in the womb are parasites and don't have any rights and they should be butchered and killed. And then you have the crazy Christians who go on and on about scriptures, quoting them. To me, abortion, I'm against it, not on a religious matter, because I'm an atheist, but on a immigration matter, or a population matter, because ever since the UK government legalised abortion, lots of women have been having an abortion because they just can't have a baby, or they don't want to deal with having a baby. This then leads to the population going down, and that then leads the UK government to, do what Blair did in the 90s, which is just open the borders to thousands and thousands of immigrants from God knows where, and now that leads to crises like we're having currently with thousands of unchecked immigrants just showing up on fucking boats. But anyway, Isabel Vaughan Spruce, a Christian campaigner who runs an anti-abortion group March for Life UK, was detained for what she described as simply the thoughts I held in my own mind outside the BPAS Robert Clinic in Birmingham. Footage from the time caused outrage among some who felt the arrest was straying into a dangerous area of the law, which it is, because if you get arrested for silently praying in your head, that means it's a thought crime, which just means we're heading down dangerous territory. Because, already the UK police have arrested me for writing graffiti. They've arrested, multiple other people for tweets. They've arrested a man for saying that, there's too many Palestinian flags in Bethnal Green, an area of London that has lots and lots of Islamic immigration. But yes, this is straying into very dangerous territory if you can be arrested for the thoughts in your head. While others said restrictions are vital for the well-being of parents who choose to legally terminate a pregnancy. So, basically in the UK you can be arrested around exclusion zones that exist around abortion clinics. Because I just don't want you to chant, what you're doing here is wrong. Because, sure, you can argue that, a baby in the womb isn't alive, but, some research has shown that a baby is alive in the womb, is alive up to 2 months, is it? It has a heartbeat, and up to some other months it can has a brain and eyes and whatever. And, making it thus alive. But some people just don't want to handle having a baby. So I'll just say to those people who don't want to handle having a baby, why did you have sex? And why did you have sex unprotected if you don't want to have a baby? There's condoms, there's contraceptives, there's all sorts of things that you could use instead of having sex unprotected and having an abortion, killing an innocent baby. Officers interviewed after they suspected she fell foul of regulations introduced last year, banning people from intimidating or harassing someone within 150 feet of an abortion clinic. This isn't America, so there isn't going to be a religious nut standing outside an abortion clinic yelling, "What you're doing is offending Jesus!" This is the UK. This is where religion and politics are, separate. We keep religion out of politics. politics. I know in America you have those crazy Christians in right-wing parties like crazy Christian Republicans, who quote scripture of the Bible whilst at fucking political rallies, go on and on about Jesus this, Jesus that, could say abortion is wrong. I know Turning Point US quotes scripture a lot. There are American political parties who go up to people and say, abortion is wrong because it says so in the Bible, that. Yeah, that happens in America. There's no religious nuts in the UK, I can assure you of that. In the UK, we don't do that, because we know that if you go around spouting scripture and shouting that this certain thing is wrong because it says so in the book, you're an idiot and you're a radicalized idiot. Yeah, sure, having an opinion on abortion is fine, but shoving it in other people's faces along with the Bible is wrong. Brogan Spruce was arrested at Birmingham Clinic just weeks after she was found not guilty for doing the same thing weeks earlier in December of 2022. The Force emailed to say that the limitation of process expired on September 6th and said, "I again apologise for the time that has caused for taking to this position." And Spruce said, "This isn't 1984 but 2023. I should never have been arrested for or investigated for simply the thoughts in my head which I held on my own. Silent prayer is never criminal. I welcome West Midlands Police's decision to end their investigation and their apology for the time it took to do so, but it's important to highlight the extremely harmful implications of this ordeal, not just for myself, but for everyone concerned, the fundamental freedoms in the UK, which are vastly being deteriorated as the police arrest people now for anything. An old woman was arrested for posting a picture, or reposting it, on her Facebook account of basically a sticker saying the LGBTQ was in your face or something like that, and the police burst through a door. A wife who was making chicken dinner in her house got a nice friendly visit from the coppers when they burst through her door and demanded that all devices be seized so that they can look at what she tweeted, because she tweeted something offensive towards transgender people. And also Labour want to make it illegal for you to misgender people. So that means if you're walking down the street and you see someone who clearly is a man but dresses as a woman, and you say, "Hello, sir," you can go to prison for hurting that they-them's feelings. How fucking fucked up is that? The regime just want to control everything, And pretty soon it'll be illegal for you to be a straight white man or a Christian in the UK. I mean, Christians already are pretty much persecuted in the UK and in America, because in America there's the whole Nashville thing where a transgender terrorist basically went on a huge killing spree and killed people. What happens to me signals to others what they too could face arrest, interrogation, investigation, and potential prosecution if caught exercising their basic freedom of thought. In the viral video, officers ask Miss Brogan Spruce to step aside the exclusion zone that exists around the clinic. However, she tells officers that she is not protesting and not engaging in any other activities prohibited. Police said, "But you've said you've engaged in prayer, which is an offence," to which she replies, "Silent prayer." Yeah, they basically said that she was praying inside her own head, silently, and basically saying, "Oh, that's wrong, ooh, boo, that's wrong." And so they arrested her, bungled her back in the copper van, and took her down to the pig station, where they then investigated her. Which just shows you what the UK police currently are doing now, because we all know the famous images of the pro-plasticine protests that are currently unfolding every single fucking weekend in London, where basically Hamas supporting crowds of Islamists storm our capital city, most recently standing on top of a war memorial. It's just fucking disgusting every single fucking weekend, and yet the police announced in a fucking interview, that there's more Islamists than there are police, and they simply cannot contain them. When we know full well that during lockdown, with the anti-lockdown protest, the police had no problem with, beating down old ladies who were refusing to be locked down because Klaus Schwab said so. And this year's Remembrance Day service, where the police saw Tommy Robinson and his far-right extremists, decided to rush all towards them and not let them into their cenotaph. After the answer, no. West Midlands police said that at the time when she refused to leave the area, so was given a fixed penalty notice, but when she again said she would not leave, she was arrested. The force had said she was bailed while officers spoke to residents and local employees. MPs later rejected attempts to allow silent prayer outside abortion clinics in England and Wales amid warnings new buffer zones measure risks making thought crime a reality. Yeah, it could make a thought crime a reality, but let's just see what kind of silent prayer is allowed or isn't, because this woman was a Catholic woman. Now, I don't agree with some of the things the Catholic Church does, but I do think she's allowed to pray outside an abortion clinic. But as we all know, the BBC hates Christians and hates Catholics. When the BBC produced the Jimmy Savile TV series, what is it called, the retelling or the revisiting or something like that, they did not blame themselves for letting Jimmy Savile get away with everything. They blamed the church, they blamed all sorts of different things except themselves, because the BBC hate Christianity. It's open season on the church, open season on Christians. But if a Muslim was doing it, let's say, if a Muslim was silently praying outside an abortion clinic, I bet the police wouldn't even fucking turn up. A Muslim could literally get out his prayer mat, face Mecca, and start praying outside an abortion clinic, and the police wouldn't do diddly squat, because if you're a Christian, you get arrested and bundled into the back of a copper van. But if you're a Muslim, you get let off because you're part of the religion of peace. Disgusting. It's beginning of thought crime, which is gonna later evolve into persecution of those who share different political views to the regime, such as myself and others who believe in the right wing and hold right-wing policies. Is going to lead to persecutions of Christians and non-Muslims. It's going to lead to the persecution of anyone who the regime does not like. So whites, Christians, conservatives, right-wingers, anyone who the regime does not like will be persecuted if these things are allowed to continue. Because let's just face it, we don't need buffer zones in the UK around abortion centres, because in the UK we're not fucking Americans. We don't hold the Bible and say what you do is wrong according to Jesus, because we're not Americans. Do you see Jesus camps in fucking Britain? Do you see any of that Christian shite in Britain? No, because in Britain we are not America. We are not a land where we're obsessed with religion. We are a land of people who think democratically, who are democratic. You don't let religion control our lives. So we don't need buffer zones around abortion clinics, because we're not religious nuts. We're not Americans. We are British. We are English. We are not blood-sucking Christian bastards who stand outside of abortion centres yelling what you're doing is wrong because Jesus said so, because it says so in a fucking book. Okay, so there should be no buffer zones around abortion centres, because who's going to protest? Who? No one. No one is going to protest. And if silent prayer is legal, then that's bad.